calling all forward-thinking estheticians. It's time to redefine the art of skincare and embrace a revolutionary approach that begins with your client's skin cell health. I'm Pharmacist Benjamin Knight Fuchs, welcoming you to Truth Treatment Systems, where beauty begins at the cell. We believe you're not just a beauty professional, you are a healthcare professional. You want to make a positive difference and you want to make a good living, and we will help you do both. We're here to support your out-of-the-box thinking and empower you to question traditional products, outdated formulations, and old-school ingredients. Imagine a world where solutions to the skin's enigmatic conditions lie just beyond the horizon. At Truth, we're not just a skincare brand, we're a movement that encourages you to explore better solutions and find that aha moment that changes the game. You are an artist and a healer of the skin, and we're here to provide the canvas and the tools for you to create tailored protocols, leaving generic ones in the past. Sign up now at truthtreatmentspro.com and receive 2 complimentary mineral-rich electrolyte sheet masks. That's truthtreatmentspro.com, where healthy skin is beautiful skin.
Hello and welcome to ASCP and the Rogue Pharmacist with Benjamin Knight Fuchs. In each episode, we'll explore how internal and external factors can impact the skin. I'm Maggie Stasek, ASCP's Program Director, and joining me is Ben Fuchs, Skincare Formulator and Pharmacist. Hi, Ben.
Hello, Maggie.
As estheticians, we all know the acid mantle plays a crucial role in skin health, but let's dig deeper. What's actually happening at the chemical level that makes the acid mantle so essential for barrier function?
The acid mantle. All estheticians know about the acid mantle. You probably get like days of talking about the acid mantle, and for good reason. You know, acid is kind of an interesting substance. Have you ever heard of the concept of alkalinize or die? How you want your inside of your body to be alkaline, and they have alkaline foods and alkaline diet, and cancer loves acid, et cetera. So what's going on here? You got the acid mantle on the one hand, and then you've got this whole idea of being alkaline. What exactly is alkaline and acid? Well, it turns out that alkaline and acid, which are measured by pH, high pH is alkaline, low pH is acid. pH scale real quickly goes from 0 to 14. Probably everybody knows that. 7 is in the middle. 0 to 7 is the acid side. 7 to 14 is the alkaline side. As you go towards 0, you get more acid. And as you go towards 14, you get more alkaline. Some people say basic. The really interesting thing about pH and acid alkaline is their electrical phenomena. We tend to focus on chemistry in our world, especially in skincare. We're always focusing on chemistry, but really chemistry only works because of electricity. And so when we talk about acid and alkaline, well, the tendency is to think, okay, acid chemicals, alkaline chemicals. Really what's happening, like you say, at the molecular level or the atomic level really, is electrical activity. When something is acid, it's pushing out electrical energy. When something is alkaline, it's sucking in electrical energy. Now, being a little bit superficial here, because I don't want to get too much into quantum chemistry, and this is quantum that we're talking about. The pushing out of electrical energy is an acidic phenomena. The sucking in of electrical energy is alkaline phenomena. So we want our blood to be alkaline. In fact, the blood has to be kept at a very tight alkaline level, pH 7.38 or so, like 7.35 to 7.38, because in the blood, you want to have a sucking effect. Why do you think you want a sucking effect in the blood? So you can suck nutrition in. So you want to have a vacuum. You want to have the nutrients, you want the blood to be able to suck up the nutrients. So the blood has to stay alkaline. In fact, if the blood becomes acidic, you don't feel good. And if you go to the local hospital or the local cancer ward and test people's blood pH, you'll find that their blood is acidic. Sometimes it can be in the 6s or even lower sometimes. So the inside of the body, when we say the inside of the body, I mean the blood, you want it to be alkaline. You want it to have a sucking effect. The skin, on the other hand, you want it to have a pushing effect. Why would you want a pushing effect? It's a barrier. It's protective. It's like a force field. So nature has equipped the skin with mechanisms to maintain acidity. The collective description or definition of the mechanisms that keep the skin acid is called the acid mantle. And the skin, while the inside of the body is around, the blood is around 7.38, the skin is right around, 4 to 5-ish. Okay, that's not tremendously acid. 0, 1, that's acid. Stomach acid that's really acidic. One time I used to work when I worked in the skincare lab, I was working with sulfuric acid. That's super acidic. Sulfuric acid, that's got like a pH of 0.1 or something. And I remember I spilled some sulfuric acid on my shorts. And I didn't think too much of it because it was on my shorts. And then I went to Elitch's, the amusement park. And I remember standing in line and I looked at my shorts and my shorts were dissolving from the acid because acid is very, very caustic at low pHs. And this is why people, when they do acid peels, will get into irritation or get into inflammation because it's going to acidic. So the skin has to be slightly acidic to have a slight force field. That acid mantle is what maintains the slight acidity of the skin. And it's largely composed of fatty acids and phospholipids, which are also acidic and also get turned into fatty acids. So that means making sure you're getting enough of these fatty materials in the diet is one of the most important things you could do to maintain the acid mantle, the acidity of the acid mantle. There's also acids that you can put on the skin that will kind of skew the skin towards the acid level. And this is one of the reasons why I love alpha hydroxy acid so much. Acids are stimulating. In fact, acids are produced by cells when cells are stressed out. This is why you may have heard sometimes how cancer is associated with acid. It's because acid is a sign that the cells are stressed out. But what's really cool about the body in general and cells is that when cells are stressed out under healthy conditions, or when the body is stressed out under healthy conditions, it responds by growing. And it turns out that while acids create a stress on the body, or they're a sign of stress on the body, under healthy conditions, they induce growth. And this is why if you're lifting weights, you tear up your muscles, you'll get bigger. But if you really want to get big, you feel the burn. What's the burn? It's acid, and acid communicates a message to the body, hey, we got to get stronger here because we got a lot of stress. Well, the same thing can happen on the skin. And it turns out when you put acid on the skin, yeah, you'll tend to skew the pH of the skin a little bit towards acid, but the skin will readjust and go back to pH of 5 or a 4.5 or 5. But in the short run, bursts of acid will turn on growth. And this is one of the reasons why I'll say why alpha hydroxy acids are so valuable. And it's why I consider alpha hydroxy acids to be the most important exfoliating aid, because not only are you exfoliating with alpha hydroxy acids, you can exfoliate with a loofah pad and a washcloth and microdermabrasion and dermaplaning. There's lots of different ways to exfoliate. But when you exfoliate with acid, not only do you exfoliate, but you also put that jolt of energy into the skin. And this accounts for the increase in collagen production and the reduction in fine lines and wrinkles and the thickening of the epidermis and all the wonderful health benefits that you get from alpha hydroxy acids. On the other hand, while acids are stimulating for the skin and acids are protective, and that force field effect, the opposite is also true. Alkaline slows things down. Sick skin is alkaline skin. Older skin is alkaline skin. Drier skin is alkaline skin. And as we age, guess what? Our skin becomes more alkaline. And to compound the problem, many, if not most, topical products that we put on our skin are alkaline. Why do you think that would be? Well, acid is moving. When things are acidic, they're moving. So skincare companies don't want their products moving because that will encourage their breakdown. So skincare companies like their products to be alkaline. So they're more stable and they have a longer shelf life. And this is why most lotions and creams tend to have a higher pH. The most egregious culprits for alkaline products are soaps and cleansers. And in fact, Ivory soap, which has a reputation for being gentle, has a pH of around 10, which is super alkaline. So that's the real problem when you're talking about acid alkaline is the products that we put on our skin and the alkalinity of the skin that progresses as we age. So you can think of putting acid on the skin, whether it's an alpha hydroxy acid or an acid cleanser or an acidic cleanser or acidic lotion or cream or topical product, as taking your skin to the gym, as stimulating for the skin, as anti-aging for the skin. The reverse is also true for alkalinity. The best way, however, to make sure that your skin stays acidic is internally. And that's always the case when it comes to the skin. As much as I love talking about topical skincare products and formulating skincare products, it's going to be internal fats, internal fatty acids, and keeping the barrier strong and healthy. And if you want to pick one thing to do to keep your skin healthy and to avoid skin diseases, is keep that barrier healthy and making sure that you're ingesting the right amount of fats, the correct amount of fats, fatty nutrients that protect those fats. As we talked about before, fats can break down quickly. So things like vitamin E and vitamin C and selenium and zinc that have protective benefits. And then stimulating the skin topically with acids and staying as far away as you can from alkalinity or alkaline products on the surface of the skin. one more thing that I want to say is the microbiome. We talk about the microbiome on the skin. The microbiome on the skin, the correct bacterial profile in the skin depends on a low pH or a pH around 5, 4.5, 5.5-ish. So the acid mantle and keeping the skin acidic is also important for the skin's local microbiome.
That concludes our show for today, and we thank you for listening. But if you just can't get enough of Ben Fuchs, the ASCP's rogue pharmacist, you can find him at truthtreatments.com. For more information on this episode or for ways to connect with Ben Fuchs or to learn more about ASCP, check out the show notes.